Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, Love and Light. I was reminded that cycles come in all different forms, and one of those cycles could be manipulation tactics that are continually thrown your way. And they can come in a multitude of fashions and forms. Manipulators don't have to be loud, they don't have to be abrasive or abusive. They can come off appearing very solemn or forthright, maybe even kind of pure or broken, and maybe raw or honest, right? But the end result really is that that energy, because it can take many forms, right? Whether it jumps into a person, an object, a mindset, it becomes a thought thrown your way, you know, and you can easily tell, because if you were having a great day and then all of a sudden, energy comes your way that feels less than loving, we'll say, right? That it could very well be a projection sent your way. Now, manipulators, rather, are energies that, for whatever their reason, they feel that they have to influence the mannerism, the movement, or the mindset that they're not willing to give up, that they want others to share with them, to pretty much reinforce their view pattern, whatever view that may be, whatever level of toxicity it may contain, right? Because there's all different levels. It can go as innocent as a kid asking mom, and mom said no, and then the kid asking dad, and dad said yes, so the kid is like, okay, I'll go with the yes. That kid just manipulated to receive something that the child wanted, right? Well, let's take that later on in life. And maybe that same child grew up to think that they're entitled to a certain type of existence or a certain type of energy. And then they try to match their environment to reflect what it is that they perceive that they should be or move as, or worse, have other people bend their will to them and move in that direction as well. And sometimes, you don't see it so strongly until you're in a relationship. And one thing that I do know is that when you're in relationships with people, depending upon the intensity of that relationship, there's always, well, in my case, there was always a tinge, if you will, of not so much responsibility, but the wantingness or the desire to make that other party feel happy. And if the only way to make them feel happy is to give in to their tangents, then what harm could it do? But then again, what are you showing potential onlookers or observers? What are you even telling yourself? And then that can grow and escalate. Let's just say that you entertained, the tangents of an energy that grew into a perceived position, that they think they should carry for regardless the reason, right? And it becomes too overwhelming or too overbearing or too hard for the other energies that are trying to not cause waves, but maybe try to, with love, maybe hope and pray that at some point they'll see the error in their way and that they'll realize that manipulation on any level doesn't really do justice to anyone at all. Not in the near front, not in the long haul, not at all, right? And I could tell you this quite honestly because I did that. I bent who I knew or what direction I should be, right? Because I let the strings of relationships affect me, right? If you love somebody, right, they say that it's easier for you to be shit upon, mind my French, by the other energy because, you know, you see past their limitations and see what they could be. And you hold space for what they could be while you endure the insecurities that are presented within the mannerism that they show, right? And this could be anybody, anything, anywhere, a mindset, even an old ego of yours, even that you could be battling with. Because when we peel back our layers, that's when we see what it is that truly affects us and why maybe a manipulator on any level would be able to infiltrate our space. And then once we heal that within ourselves, it's harder to live in a space where manipulation on any level still resides. So then that can create more tension and more problems. But what you're being geared to do, as hard as it may be, is realize that the best loving thing that is waiting for you to accept and release, right? Because you have to accept what it is that you're going to forgive before you could release it and let it go, right? Those are steps, you know, because you can't really get rid of something if you didn't really forgive it, because then there's still a piece of it that's hanging around, which would maybe let the rest of it push its way through, where you might find that, you know, manipulation is something that, you know, follows you. But you have the power and you have the courage to stop that. And you can choose whichever direction you want to be, whether you want to entertain forever the antics of another energy, or if you would like to have more balance and harmony, if you would like to finally end a cycle and begin a new cycle and allow new beginnings with fresh growth and development, with more understanding of self to be able to flourish into your world. And that in turn would allow everyone that you could have been, would have been, had been connected to, or even could be in the future, know the worth that you hold, that your self-worth means something to you, and that you're willing to make sacrifices in order to sit in the space in which you know you belong. And whether or not others will see the strength in your movements is yet to be seen. All you can do is continue to hold loving space for the energies of the people that you know they could be, right? But until then, you keep going and you keep moving forward and you keep unpacking all the things in you in which are holding you backwards or slowing you down, because then you'll have the ability to not only survive, but truly thrive. And then so will everybody who's observing you, because they saw you take the courage to break free of whatever level of manipulation may be following you. Because you chose to make a decision, and you chose to stick with it, and you chose to look at the positive aspects that loving, living life truly does offer when you stand in the right light and you let your light shine just as bright by self-love, self-care, understanding that we all have a position and a role, and that when it's our time, we'll know. We'll get that nudge. We won't be able to ignore the call. And if you need encouragement to step into your light, email me, call me, text me. Join the family of interconnected, united, high vibrational, forward moving momentum. Whoops, my leg jumped. I guess that was confirmation. My lovely collective, whatever you do today, I encourage you to love living life, to be able to observe the energy that could be infiltrating your space, and then choose which side of the fence that you would like to live your life, where you get the most joy, the most abundance in all forms. And abundance comes in peace and tranquility and inner bliss. Those are just some forms of true abundance, because it's not always tangible. It's a mindset. My lovely collective, love and light, peace and joy, balance and harmony. And check out the number 1144. I see it all the time. It follows me everywhere I go, or leads me, however you want to look at it. I'd like to look at it as it's leading me, encouraging me. Stay strong. Follow your signs. And if you need assistance, I'm never far. I'm always available. Let's talk. Love you.